Good afternoon. We're looking at ions and ionic bonds. 0620 syllabus. Here's the two core objectives that we want to look at. Describe the formation of positive ions known as cations and negative ions known as anions. And state that the ionic bond is a strong electrostatic attraction between oppositely charged ions. I'd like to pose a few questions. Maybe you might know this already, maybe not, but this is my format. So this is the questions I pose. Can we define what is meant by an ion of an element? And if you already know that, please feel free to answer it. Can you give common examples of ions of different elements, the positive and negative variety? This is ionic bonds usually occur between metals and non-metals. Here's an example below. We have a metal sodium here, and I'll draw that up for you. And I'll put that in a different color. So we've got sodium, group 1 metal, so group 1 reacts with a group 7. I'll just put that in Roman numerals. And then we can ionic compound. Other examples are magnesium oxide and lead 2 chloride. So a transition non-metal lead and a group 2 alkali earth metal reacting with oxygen, group 6. On to the next slide. Formation of ions. Ionic bonding involves the formation of ions. Metals lose electrons to form positive ions in general. Non-metals gain electrons to form negative ions. Here's an example of a picture shown here. So we've shown you the full electronic configuration in terms of shells. So we have sodium ion here, 281 as an atom. To form an ion, it loses 1 electron from the outer shell here. So you can see it's only got the 2 and the 8. So that's a sodium atom, forms a sodium ion. You can see the charge of +1. Here's another way of looking at it, so forth. So remember, just a little bit of working here. We've got usually 11 protons. We've got 11 electrons, which makes that electronically neutral. Here, 0. And remember, we lose 1 electron, so we've got +11 protons. We've got -10 electrons, so the overall charge is +1, hence the +1 charge for that ion. We have a look at the next formation of ions. Again, we're going to look at non-metal ions. Chlorine atom forming a chloride ion, which we'll look at now. Here we go. So you can see this is a chlorine atom, 287, atomic number 17, and we can see it forms a chloride ion. I'll note that here you can see as a non-metal the name changed, chloride ion. It's not called the chlorine ion, it's called the chloride ion. So we can see it there, gains 1 electron and so forth. In terms of charges, I'll just write them here. You've got 17 protons plus 17. You've got -17 electrons. If we have a look at the overall charge, it's 0. When it forms an ion, we've still got 17 protons, because remember, we're losing or gaining electrons, not protons. Here we've got -18 electrons, and we work out to be a charge of -1, hence that's the charge we see there. Okay, the final slide, we're looking at the sodium atom bonding with the chlorine atom. This example would be sodium ions forming an ionic bond with chloride ions. Here's the little equation here without all the bump. So a little equation here. So we've got the sodium atom here. Here it is with all the shells. Got the chlorine atom here with all the shells, and we go to form this ionic bond between sodium and chlorine. You can see the sodium atom loses or loss of sodium, and then the chlorine atom gains simultaneously, and we form this bond called sodium chloride. This is the way we write it here, or as the full electronic configuration showing you all shells. So you would put a charge here of 1 plus and then the 1 minus here. And this is where you get the electrostatic attraction between oppositely charged ions.